Okay, do you remember this?
Yes.
Y is equals to X. Graph of Y is equal to X used to look like this. Graph of Y equals X square used to look like this. And the third one, Y equals X cube. It would appear like this. The curve goes up on one side and the curve comes down on the other. Comparing this with Y equals negative X, Y equals negative X square, Y equals negative X cube. X and Y axis, X and Y axis, X and Y axis. So what actually happens when you turn from positive X to negative X? The graph reflects itself in X-axis. Positive X square to negative X square, the graph reflects itself. The equations of straight line negative X square. In case of cube, again reflecting itself in X-axis. Do you remember this? Revision of coordinates
Yes.
first and then this.
Yahyas having difficulties with his webcam. He messaged me, so he's just
Formulas
trying to reconfigure
and
that.
examples. We'll wait for a minute.
All right.
Midpoint. It was x1 plus x2 over 2, comma y1 plus y2 over 2. Example, if we have two coordinates, point A and point B. So midpoint is x1 plus x2 by 2, y1 plus y2 by 2, 6 by 2, 10 by 2 is 3, 5. Second formula, distance. You may call it distance or magnitude. So represented by this symbol, vertical lines, modulus. This is x2 minus x1 whole squared plus y2 minus y1 whole squared whole under the root. If we use the same numbers, A is 2, 3, B is 4, 7. So distance is x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2. I've switched them. X2 minus x1 whole squared plus
sketch of cubic
y2 minus y1 whole squared
point
whole
of
under the root.
intersections.
So 4 minus 2 is 2 square,
We've covered translation
4
of
square,
graphs.
square root. So 4 plus 16. So the answer
For some
is
reason, Mahad isn't
square root
answering my
20
messages, so I think he forgot we have class today.
units.
And Yahya informed me that he's restarting his laptop because it's
Okay, let us
Because
then
of
we
the
have
difficulties with
covered
gradient.
some part of this lecture today. Gradient, also known as
the recording with them.
slope, and also
Do you remember
known as
these
small
6
m.
graphs?
The
From
formula
O levels.
was
Y equals x,
y2
y equals
minus
x square,
y1
y equals x
over
cube,
x2 minus
and then
x1,
you have y
or
equals negative x
rise
square, and
over
negative x cube.
run. Do you
Only
remember
if
this?
you could learn this first half, left side.
Yeah.
So it is very easy to transform it to
Taking the
negative
same points,
let the
values
gradient
of the
be
same graph. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
If you
7
move
minus
on
3 is 4 by 2, so gradient is 2.
to higher levels of powers,
Next is
let's say
equation.
y equals x4. See, when it is
Equation
y
of
equals x,
straight
there are
line.
zero
So
curves.
this is y equals mx plus c. Here I'll need your
When it
input.
is y equals x square,
Or
there is one curve.
y
When it
minus
is
y1
x cube,
equals m into
there
x
are
minus x1. Which
two
one do you
curves.
prefer?
So when
Left
it
or
is
right?
x4, there will be three
I
curves.
usually use the left
The
one.
generic
left one.
graph
Okay,
would
we'll use the
look
same. Like so, y equals
this.
mx plus c. If we again have
Three
the same
curves,
points,
1,
2,
2,
4,
and 3.
b
So whatever the
is
power
4,
is,
7.
curves will be one less than that.
So choose any of the
So
points.
when
I'm choosing
sketching
A.
is asked
This
for it,
is
for example,
4,
y
gradient is
equals
2, x is 2,
x plus 1
plus c.
times x
So
plus
4
2
equals 4 plus
times x
c.
plus
c
3
equals to 0.
times
That's a
x plus
coincidence.
4.
So y
We
is
know that
equals to
when
2x.
we will
This
equate
is the
y
equation
equals
of line.
0, we will get these values. X equals -1, x
Fifth.
equals -2, x equals -3, x equals
Parallel
-4.
lines.
So the graph will intersect at
In that case,
-1,
M1 is equals to
-2,
M2.
-3,
In case
and
of parallel
-4.
lines, gradient of first
-1,
line
-2,
is equal
-3,
to gradient
-4.
of
The
second
graph will
line.
intersect at these 4 points.
This is the example.
And as we already
And if
discussed that the
we
graph of x
draw
bar
a
4
grid
will look
as
like
well,
this.
so we have
we
same
ensure that
gradient but
it
different
starts
y-intercepts. Let
from
me say
up
this is
here,
-2.
moves
Let me say
down
this is 3. If I tell
through
you
the
that the
point of
gradient is 7,
intersections, and the graph
suppose the
will
gradient is
look
7.
like
So
this.
equation of first line will be
So
y is equals to
converting it into
7x
generic
plus
form,
3. And equation of the
x
line below this
power
is
a,
y is equals
and
to
either it is
7x minus 2.
positive x
Any objection
raised
in
to
these
power
two
a,
equations?
or it is
I've just
negative
substituted the
x
value in y equals
raised to
mx
power a.
plus c. The gradient is
So
known,
discussing one
y-intercept is known.
at a time.
Gradient is 7 for both because they are parallel and y-intercept is
When
given.
a is
Parallel
even,
lines, and then there was the concept of perpendicular.
whatever the number of curves are, suppose the power is 3, 4, 5, 6,
Perpendicular
7,
lines.
anything. Our syllabus is up to 4.
So what do
So
perpendicular
whatever the
lines have to
power
do with
is,
each other?
whatever
If
the
you're
number
given
of
with one
curves
line
are,
and any
graph
other
will
line which
look like
passes perpendicular to the given line, that
move
is
up
at
from
90
left and
degrees
right, and
the
in
first line.
between
So
this there will be
gradient of
number of
first
curves,
line
whatever the
and
number is.
gradient of second line. The
And
relation
when
between
it
them
is
is
negative,
m1 times m2 is equals to -1.
and a is even,
So if I say that the first line is y is equals to
the graph
7x
switches
plus
down,
3.
and
So
there are
gradient
number
of
of
second
curves,
line would
whatever
be
it is. We will discuss it
7
with
times
numbered
m2
values.
is equals to -1
And when we
m2 is equals
consider
to
odd,
-1 by 7.
like
Or you can
positive
also say
x bar
negative
a, and
reciprocal.
a equals
I'll write few
an
lines
odd
and I'll
number.
ask y-intercept and gradients from you. So
Just look
y
at
is
this.
equals
For
to
example,
2x
y is
plus
equals to
3,
x
y
cube.
is
It is
equal to
positive,
minus
but the power is
7x
odd.
plus
So
4.
when the power is odd, it goes
3y
up
is equals
from
to
the right side and down
9x
at the left.
plus 12.
So
And
it will
3y
look
is
like
equal
this.
to
Moves
minus
up to
4x
right hand
plus
side, moves
7
down to left hand side. And inside the
minus
box, the
4y
curve would
is
look like
equals
this.
to
Whatever the
8x
number of power is, one
plus
less
2.
than that. Same
So
case with the
here we
negative
go.
part. Negative number,
And I
if
want
a
you
is again odd,
tell me the
and
values
we have
of
negative x bar a,
gradient
it
and
switches,
y-intercept.
and this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the case.
Can you hear me?
Now let's do this with numbers. Suppose we have x cube. It is odd
Yeah.
and positive.
Oh, you came from the left
So
side.
it
I thought you were on the
moves
share.
up
What's that?
from right side and down on the other,
Interesting.
and there are two
Okay,
curves.
what is the gradient
Whatever
of
the
first
power
line?
is, the curves are one less than that.
The gradient, it's
If we have
two.
negative x cube,
Gradient is
two
2. And what is
curves,
the
but
y-intercept
now
for
it
first
moves
line?
up from left and goes
Two.
down on the right side.
That is 3.
When we
Okay,
have
Mahat.
x bar 4,
Gradient for
it
second
is
line is
even. Even powers make
7
smiley faces.
and
So
minus
if
7,
it is a smiley
Minus
face,
7.
number of curves
And
will
what
depend
is
on
left?
power.
4, positive 4.
The power is
That is
4.
4.
So there will be
Ji,
three curves.
Mohammed Abbasi.
So the
What is
graph
your
would look
given
like
name?
this. If we have
A
negative
given name
x bar
as
4,
in
again,
What should I call
power
you?
is even,
Muhammad.
but
Mohammed.
due to
Mohammed,
negative, it
third
is a
line.
sad face. So on sides, it is
Gradient
like
of third
this,
line.
and the graph would look like this.
The
Overall,
gradient for third line
it
is
gives you an impression of a sad face. Overall, with positive
for
number, it gives
regular
you an
y or
impression
3y?
of a smiley face.
For y, it's 3x.
For example, now this is out of syllabus,
So as
out of course.
as
Just to
yeah,
discuss,
the
if
answer
we have
the
x
first
raised to power
question
7,
and
I
second.
thought because
Go
this
for
is
7 would
third
mean
line,
we
so I
will
thought it
have
was only
6
divided by
curves.
3.
Yes, so the gradient will
But
be
being
that's right.
positive
Gradient is
and
3
odd,
and
it will
y-intercept.
rise to right and
4.
fall to left.
Y-intercept is 4.
So 1,
Yeah, here again.
2,
Fourth line.
3,
Gradient is
4, 5, 6 curves. This will
Can I use a
somehow
calculator?
look like this.
take your time. You may answer in fractions as well.
If we have x raised to
So
power 8,
the gradient is
positive
-4/3.
and even,
That's right.
it will give
Minus
you an
4 by 3
impression
and
of smiley
y-intercept is
face. Power is 8, so curves
7
will be
over 3.
7.
7 over
First
3.
curve,
Mahat,
second,
last line.
third, fourth,
Gradient is,
fifth, sixth, seventh.
-2,
So gives you an
that's right.
impression of
And
smiley face
y-intercept?
because of positive number and
minus
even power.
1.5.
minus
And
1
there
by
are
2 or
7 curves.
0.5. That's right. Okay.
Again,
So
summarizing it
I'll write a question and then we'll
within
solve
the
it.
syllabus.
For
Y
perpendicular
is equals
lines.
to x.
Parallel
No power.
lines is too easy because gradient is
Power
same.
is 1.
You only
so
need to find the
curve
y-intercept.
is
And
0.
you've answered.
Y is equals to
You
x
actually
square.
remember these things.
Power
so we
is
can
2.
save our time.
So curves
So for
are
perpendicular
1.
question
Y is equals to x cube.
find
Power is
the
3. So there are two curves, 1
equation of line
and 2. Now doing the same with negative numbers.
Which
Y is
is
equals to negative x. Looks like this. Y is equals to negative x square.
perpendicular
Would look
to
like this. Y is equals to negative x cube.
3x plus 4
Appears like this.
and
So comparing it with this, y is equals to
passes
x4 positive.
through
Compare
6
this
comma
with this one.
9.
Even power, positive number, an impression
this
of
statement
smiley
clear?
face, but it will intersect.
Find
It will show
the
3 curves.
equation of line
1,
which is perpendicular to this
3.
given line and passes through 6 comma 9. So we know that
Now
line
let's
is
try this question.
perpendicular
Y
to
is
this
equals
given line.
to x
The
plus
gradient
1
of the given line is
into
3.
x plus 2 into
So
x minus 3 and x minus 4.
gradient of new
So when we
line
will solve this equation
must be
equals to 0, equal to 0 would mean that where it intersects
3
the
into
x-axis.
m2 equals
The values we
minus
get
1.
are x is equals to minus 1,
M2
x is
is
equals to
equals to
minus 2,
minus 1
x
by
is
3.
equals to plus
Gradient
3
must
and
be
x
this.
is equals
So
to plus
line is
4.
y
Any
equals
objection in these
mx
4
plus
values?
c and it is given that the line passes through 6 comma 9
Not any.
and we know the gradient.
So we have our x-axis and
y
y-axis.
is
It
9,
intersects at
gradient
minus
is
1,
negative 1 by
intersect at
3,
minus 2,
x is
intersect
6
at
plus
positive
c.
3 and positive
C
4.
1
Before
times,
sketching,
C 2 times.
we
So
know that
9
if we
plus 2 is
multiply
equals to
this,
C,
it would
C is
result in
equals to
x bar
11.
something,
But
which is
rewriting
4.
the equation, y is equals to negative 1 by
Even
3
power
x
and
plus
positive
11.
number. It is
So
positive
this is the
and
line
even. That means it would
which
give an
is
impression of smiley face.
perpendicular to the given
Being
line
smiley
and
face,
that
it
passes
rises
through
on left
6
and
comma 9.
rises on right. So I have no doubt
Now I'll introduce
sketching these two lines.
few values and
What
I
would
want
I
you
do
to
after
solve
that?
this.
The power is 4. So there will be
Question
3
is,
curves. First, make
find
sure you intersect at these points.
the
Second curve and third
equation
curve. So
of
this is your sketch for the given equation.
perpendicular
Let us make a slight change.
bisector. You know what bisector is?
If we have y equals
Yes.
x plus 1
Find the
into
equation of
x plus
perpendicular
2
bisector
into x minus 3 only,
of
and the fourth number is missing.
points
So the numbers would be
A,
x
which
minus
is
1,
2 comma
x
3
minus 2,
and
and
B,
x
which
plus
is
3.
minus 7 comma 9. Find the equation of
The graph
perpendicular
intersects at
bisector of points
minus
A
1,
and B.
minus 2, plus 3.
Please try this.
Now this is a cubic graph, y equals x cube, and we know that being odd, it rises to right and falls to left. So if it rises at the right, this, and falls to left, this is the impression. What comes in between are two curves. How? The power is 3. So there will be two curves, 1 and 2. This is something how your graph will look like. Getting the point? And thanks to someone who invented this GeoGebra. Let's have a look at few questions, how the graph looks like. So if we have x plus 1 times x plus 2, So x plus 1 times x plus 2. This is a quadratic equation. The power of x would be 2. So there is one single curve. Can you see that? Yeah, is feeling sleepy. Yeah, how many are these? Okay. So x plus 1 times x plus 2, the power is 2, but there is one curve. And because it is positive, it gives an impression of smiley face. Now introducing the third number. Before I type, I know that I'm going to write a cubic expression. So re is the power, so there will be two curves. And introducing a value of x plus 3. So was this the shape you were
Are you
expecting?
able to do it?
At -1, -2,
You have
-3.
this feeling that you're doing it the right way?
I'm going to type x plus 4. So plus 4 would mean we will have an intersection at -4. All being positive will give an impression of smiley face, and it will intersect
Yes.
at -1, -2,
That is the start.
-3, and I'm going to type -4 with this. So x plus 4
In O levels, this was
overall
4-mark question.
gives an impression of smiley face and intersects at the given point.
Which we'll do in 4 steps.
X power 5 is not in our
Should I start with
syllabus,
you?
but just to see.
If you are
Times
confused,
x plus
almost
5.
done, very good.
So look at this. Now x power 5. 5 means there will be 4 curves. Can you count 4 of them? 1, 2, 3, 4. Power 5 means one less curve. And now because it is odd and positive, it rises to right and falls to left. If I change it into negative number by punching in a negative sign right here before the equation. Now it rises to left and falls to right. And number of curves are same. Coming back to this, because we won't have the software in our exam. So overall, if I write BXA, BXA, and I say B is positive, A is
Yeah,
even.
-2/3.
May I say
First gradient is -2/3.
look like
So
this.
the gradient for perpendicular line will be negative
B
reciprocal.
positive,
That means
A even.
sign changed and
And if I
reciprocal.
say
So
B
now
is
I have
negative
the gradient of
and A
perpendicular
is
line,
even,
and it says that it is
it will
perpendicular
look like this.
bisector. Bisector
What does the
would
box
mean
represent?
it passes through the midpoint. So midpoint of
The
AB
box
is
will represent the number of
x1
curves depending
plus
on the
x2
value of A. If A
over
is 5,
2,
there will be 4 curves inside the
y1
box. If
plus
A is
y2
9,
over 2
there will be 8 curves inside the box.
minus 5/2
So we did with
and
even.
12/2.
Now let us
It is
write
your
with
choice
odd.
if you want to keep it in
When
fraction
B
or
is
decimal.
positive and A is odd,
So first gradient, from that we got the
rises to
gradient
right
of
and
perpendicular line
falls to left.
and then midpoint. Now we know the gradient of perpendicular line
And when B
this
is
one
negative
and the point
A
from which
is
it passes.
odd, it
So y
rises to left and
equals
falls
mx
to the
plus
right.
c. Y is
Let's sketch
6,
some values.
gradient is
Suppose
3/2,
x
x is
power
minus 5/2
3.
plus c.
Sorry, this is supposed to be even x power
So
4.
6 equals
So it will
minus
rise on both
15/4,
sides. So 1,
taking it
2
to
rise
the
on
other
both sides,
side.
but there are
6
3 curves.
plus
1,
15/4
2,
equals c.
3. 1,
LCM
2, 3.
24 plus 15 equals c.
Negative number
C is equals to
1, 2,
9,
3.
39/4.
Negative x power 4.
And the equation is y is equals to
So
3/2
let's try an odd
x
number. If we
plus
have x raised to power
39/4.
5, it rises to right and falls to left.
We can have any
1,
form. The
2,
marking scheme will include
3,
OE, that
4,
means or
and
equivalent.
this.
Someone would wish to multiply the
Does
whole
it
equation with
resemble
4.
x
So
power
this
5,
is
4
4y
curves. 1,
is
2,
equals to
3,
6x
4, and
plus
rises to right
39.
and falls to left.
Any of the form is
For
acceptable.
the negative number, 1, 2, 3,
Now coming back
4,
to the context,
and this. 1,
we also
2,
had
3,
area in our
4.
question.
Negative x 5, power is
If
5,
we
so
look at
there are
these
4 curves.
objectives,
but it
Calculate
is
the
negative,
gradient
so
of line.
rises to
Done.
left and falls
Understand the link
to
between
right.
the cohesion of line
These
and
are
its
just the generic
gradient
curves.
and y-intercept. More the gradient,
What is
steeper
required
is
of
the
us
line.
is number of
Y-intercept
curves,
tells you
one thing,
exactly where the line
point of
intersects the
intersection of
y-axis.
x-axis, second thing,
Third point,
point of
find the
intersection
cohesion of given line
y-axis, last thing.
with gradient and
So
one
in this
point. Done.
case, what we missed
And
was
2
point of
points. If we
intersection
have
of y.
2 points, definitely we'll first find
So
the
at
gradient.
y-axis,
and
we
then
know that the
y-intercept.
value of x is 0.
Fourth point, find the point
So
of
when x
intersection
is
of the
0,
pair
1
of
times 2 is
straight
2,
lines.
2 times
Point of
minus 3 is
intersection.
minus 6.
This is
So
exactly the
we have this
repetition
value
of
minus 6.
third chapter.
In the previous
simultaneous
equation,
equations.
again, when x is 0,
Point
1
of
times 2 is
intersection.
2, 2 into minus 3
Do you remember or
is
you
minus
want me
6,
to do
minus
it
6
quickly?
into minus 4 is
We have two
plus
straight lines
24. So
and we
this
can
is
solve them either by
24.
graphical method
Is this point
or
clear?
simultaneously by substitution or elimination.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now let's have a look
Sixth
at
point, know the use of
some
rules for
questions. What
parallel
does it have to
and
say?
perpendicular gradients. Parallel M1 equals M2.
Okay, these are the few
Perpendicular
graphs
is
before.
M1 times
Without
M2
looking
is
at
equals
equation,
to
we can say
minus 1.
that the first two are
Second last,
of
solve for length straight
X
away distance
cube.
formula. Area problems
Do you
on
agree?
coordinate grids. So now let us discuss area.
And this must be negative x cube.
For example,
again,
we have this question.
Negative x cube. Definitely, this is not the case. It may include plus 2x, minus 2x or something else. But overall,
And
it is
you
a
are
cubic
given
equation.
with
And we know
these
that first
three
two are
lines.
positive x cubes and the next two are negative
Let's
x
say
cubes.
line 1, line 2,
Right?
and x-axis as the third line.
Now look at this question. This right here.
And
This
you are
is a
given the
cubic
points of
expression first
intersection.
thing.
This is 6.
And we know that it intersects at plus 2.
This is
It
minus
intersects
4.
at plus 1
And let me say
and
this is
minus 1.
x 4
Plus
and
2 plus 1
y 8.
minus 1. How am I doing this? I'm equating it with 0.
And examiner asks you to find
So
the
this
area
will
of
intersect
shaded region
at
or the triangle,
plus
or they
1
may name it A, B, and C.
minus 1
So
and plus 2.
area is equals to
We know
1
that
by
it is
2
positive
times base
and
times
odd.
height.
So rises to right
is
and
the base
falls
of
to
this
left, and
triangle?
here is the box. And we
Length of
know that
base?
there will be two curves in the box. So because I know it
Is it 10?
falls to left and
Yes, that's
rises
10.
to right, and there are two
Few
curves.
students would
So
go for
1
distance formula, but you don't need it
and
here
2
because
this
it is
the
a
sketch.
perfect horizontal line. So in this case, -4 and 6, the base is 10.
So we've written the
height
point
is
of intersection of
Always
x-axis
the
to
perpendicular
write the
distance
point
with
of
the base.
intersection
So
of
height is
y-axis.
8.
Use the value of x is equals to
1
0.
times 2,
Plug
4
in the
times. So
equation.
area is 40
Minus 2 times 1 is
unit
minus 2.
square.
This
Let's
is
increase the
minus
difficulty
2.
level of the same question.
I think we made a little mistake. This is negative x cube.
The question says you are
I
given
missed this point.
with
Negative
three
x cube.
lines.
Point of intersections
One,
are same. And the curve rises to
2,
right and falls to left. And this is this
and
clear?
the third line.
This was negative x cube
So
or
y
power
is equals to
negative
1.
rises to left, falls to right.
This is y
And
is equals
y-intercept
to
is
2x
minus 2
plus 3.
times 1 times 1.
And this
So
is
it
y
intersects at
is equals to
minus 2.
minus 3x plus
Any
7.
questions?
And the
Let's try the
examiner asks
second
you
one.
to find the area of triangle ABC. ABC. It says
Before
y
we
is
move
equals to
ahead,
x
we
times
should know
x
the plus
coordinates
1
of A, B, and
times
C.
x plus 2.
Can you do it?
So this will be x cube. So one thing it is cube, the other thing it is positive.
Any idea?
So this will be the
This
case.
question exactly
To be
resembles
exact,
the previous
it
question,
will intersect
but
at
over
x
there
is
the
equals
coordinates
to
of the
0,
intersection were given.
x equals
This
to
part,
0,
it is
x
unknown.
equals minus 1, x equals minus 2. So this is minus 1, this is minus 2, and this is 0.
Share
It
your
intersects at
ideas.
these 3 points. Rises to right, falls to left, and completing the
I think
curve.
both A and
This
C
is
have
your
a y
graph.
value of 1.
That's right. So we have a
So if
lead
this is your graph,
that is x is unknown,
point of intersection
y
of
is
y
1
is
for
already
A.
there.
x is
So this is
unknown
complete.
and y is 1 for C. Let's target A. How can we find A?
Let's try few random questions. Y is equals to
Do we
1,
know
Value
any
will be
numbers for A?
negative, right?
3. Okay,
Yes, the value
Mohammed,
is negative.
name any numbers between these, x plus something or minus
So
something, any
1 into y equals 2x plus 3 plus
That's
2.
right.
x
The
plus 2,
coordinate
another
A
number,
lies
X
on the
minus
red and blue
5
line both.
minus 5, another number,
Through red line, you knew that the value of Y was 1.
plus
And it also
4.
lies on the
x plus 4.
equation
So
for A.
I know that
It lies
this
on the
is
equation
a
Y is
cubic
equals to
expression
2x plus 3 on
and
this
it
line.
is positive x cube.
Value of Y
Any
is
doubt?
1. So value of X could be solved. So 1 minus 3
I know that
equals
it will
2X.
intersect at
Minus 2 is
2
equals to 2X.
plus 5
X is
and
equals to
minus 4.
minus
Any
1.
doubts?
So I can write, I'm replacing this X
So
with
this is our
negative 1.
sketch. It intersects at
Negative 1, comma 1. We're done with
plus
A.
5,
What about C?
minus 2 and minus
For
4.
C,
And because we've
It
already
lies
decided
on
that
Y
it is
is equals
odd
to
and
minus 3X
positive,
plus 7.
it will look like
Y
this.
is 1.
And 2 curves. So this
So 1 minus 7 equals minus
is
3X.
our sketch.
Negative 6 is equals to negative 3X.
Last point,
and
when
X
x
is
is 0.
equals to
So when x is 0, it is 2 times
2.
minus 5 times minus
right?
4
So we can replace this
plus
X
2 minus
with
4
2.
minus 2.
Now for
So
B,
2 5 times is
what do we do?
minus 10. Minus 10 into minus 4 is minus 40. So it intersects at minus 40.
How can we solve for B? Minus 40 plus 40. We have two equations.
X is minus
One
2,
40.
x is
blue,
minus
the
40.
other green.
4.
They are intersecting at B.
Negative,
So
positive.
Y
Okay,
is
this-
equals to
this was my
2X
mistake.
plus
I've
3
written
and Y
plus
is
4. This
equals
is
to
plus 4.
minus 3X plus 7. We'll solve these
So yes, this is
simultaneously.
minus 40.
I'm subtracting these equations. When
Let's
we
try another
subtract these,
question.
the
Y is
signs, they
equals to,
change.
now we'll convert
This
this into
cancels
negative
out.
x cube.
This
So
is
one of the x is
5x
negative. Any
minus
number
4.
with this.
So 4 is equals to
Yeah, any number.
5x and X is equals to 4 by 5.
We have to
I
make a
know the
cubic
X coordinate.
expression.
For Y, use any
Okay, 5.
equation.
Then x, positive, negative, any number.
So let's say
3.
Y
Minus
is
3
equals to 2X plus 3. I'm using the first equation
and 2.
and value
Okay.
of X is
So we know
4
that
by
the value of
5
x in
plus
the
3.
last expression would be minus 2. This would be
Y is
plus
equals
3
to 8
and
by
this would be
5 plus 3.
plus 5.
Taking
Any objection
LCM,
in these
8
three
plus
values?
15. This is 23 by Y. So we know the value is 4 by 5.
How do we
and
solve them?
23
When
by
we place
5.
them equal to 0 and then
4 by 5
make
and
x the subject of the
23 by
equation. So x
5.
equals minus 2, x equals 3.
So the
and
demand
x
of
equals
question was
5.
area.
So 3
Area is
5
1 by 2
and
times
minus 2.
base times height.
This is x
1
cube
by 2.
and
Now
negative.
the base
So
is
it will
from
give this
minus 1
impression.
to 2.
Falls to right,
Base is 3
rises to left.
and height is
And 2
23
curves,
by 5.
1 and 2.
This is
Finding the y-intercept,
69 by
x equals
10.
0.
That
So
is
this is
6.9
plus 5 times minus
unit
3
square.
times
Is this
2.
thing clear?
5, 3 times minus 15. Minus 15 into 2 is minus 30. So this point of intersection is
Yes.
negative
Yes.
30.
Okay. Now, what is our next objective?
Let's try with quadratic now.
Solve the length and area on coordinate grids. Last point. Use straight
Okay,
line
one more
graphs to
interesting thing
construct
before we move on.
mathematical models.
Y is equals to
Okay,
what
what
if we
are
have
these?
the equation x plus 2
Every information
into
will be
x plus
given
2
in the question and
into
we'll read it
x
and
minus 1.
write the equations. Example.
Is it possible we may have
If I
this
tell you
equation
that we have a fixed bill of 100 rupees
plus 2 minus
for
1.
electricity, even if you
So the
don't use
impressions
it.
would be x is
So there's
equals
a
to
fixed
minus
bill.
2, x is
And I
equals
tell
to
you
minus 2 and x is equals to 1.
that unit cost
That would
is
mean
10 rupees.
at minus 2 we have
So if
2
someone
points of
uses
intersection and at
1
1
unit,
we have single point of intersection. And this is a
If
cubic
someone uses
expression,
1 unit,
first
their
thing,
bill will be 110 rupees.
it gives the impression
Does it make sense?
of
This.
so it
1 unit is
rises to
rupees 10
right
and
and
fixed cost is
falls
100.
to
So
left.
total is 110. If someone uses 2 units, the bill would be 120.
Okay.
What will be the bill if someone
So,
uses 5 units?
1, 2 falls to left because we have 2 points at -2. So the curve
I didn't get
touches
it, sorry.
at -2.
Will be 150.
150.
And this is your sketch.
Okay, now we are solving it in reverse order. If
Are
I
you
tell
getting this
you
idea?
that the bill was 170 rupees, how many units would have been used?
So if I say, if I draw a new sketch and I tell you that
Units.
this is the case,
7 units.
I'm giving
170
you
is the
this
bill.
value as
First we take out the
-3,
fixed cost and we are left with
this
70.
value as +4,
We know 1 unit was for 10 rupees. So number of units are 7.
-3 and
One more
+4.
example, then we'll make the
Is
equation.
it a
If the bill was
quadratic
180,
graph,
the number of
a
units used would
cubic
have been
graph, or x bar 4? What is it? A, B, or C? Yes, ma'am.
8.
Mohammed?
So if I
B.
write this equation
is
that the
B.
bill is dependent
So
on n
it is a cubic
and
graph.
this is
one
1,
thing.
0, 10 plus
Now,
1,
is it
100.
positive or
Would you
negative?
agree with this? Where n is the number of
Yeah.
unit, b is the bill. So this was one of the equation or one of the function
Remember
which we
this?
made
Y is
depending
equals to
on the
x cube
given
look like
data.
this.
What is the
It
other
is
way?
opposite of that.
These are actually the values of
this is
x and these
negative
are
x
values
cube.
of y. If I say the gradient
So this is negative x cube
y2
graph.
minus y1 over
So
x2
we have
minus
these
x1.
values. One is
So I
4.
get 10 by 1, that is 10.
If
This
I
is
have
the
to write
gradient.
the equation,
What if I have to find the
this
y-intercept?
would be x plus
Y-intercept is
3,
actually the fixed
x
cost.
plus 3,
So y
and
equals
x
mx plus
minus
c.
4. In order to
Gradient
get
is
4
10.
and 2
We
times
use
positive
any
3,
value. I'm
and
using the
here is
first
the
one.
negative sign
X is
to
1.
make it
This is
negative
110
x
plus
cube.
c.
So just by looking at
So
the
when
graph,
we
we can
solve
write the
for
equation.
c, I get 100. So y equals mx plus
Let's try
c.
one another
M
graph.
is the gradient, which is the rate actually. So that was 10. X is here. C is the fixed
So
cost.
I can see 3 points of
This
intersection
is
minus
unit
1,
cost.
2,
C is the fixed cost,
5.
which was 100, and
So
y
y
was
is
the bill.
equals to
So we
x
can write bill is equals to
something, y
unit
is equals
times
to
gradient
x
and
something,
this.
y is equals to
So
x
this is
something.
basically the
First value. For this,
concept
what
which
should I
we'll be
write?
using to find the equation of any given function.
In place of -1, what should I write?
Let's have an overview of the
Plus
chapter.
1.
+1.
How
Sign
the
changes.
questions would appear.
For 2, what do I write?
Y equals mx plus
-2.
c.
For 5, what do I write?
-5.
-5. So looking at the
Work
graph,
out
we
the
can write the
gradients of the
equation.
lines.
And
Straight
looking
away
at the
formula
equation,
y2
we can
minus y1
draw the
over
graph.
x2 minus x1. If
Now,
I say we are
it
done
is
with
a
this
matter
and you
of
have any questions,
practice
this is your right.
that
We
when
may
you
ask.
will do this,
Look at question number
definitely
2.
with
It
the
says the line
glimpse of
joining
an eye,
these 2
you can
points has
see that
gradient
it
4.
rises
Now the
to
point is
right
unknown,
or
but the
falls
gradient
to
is
left.
known. So if I
There are
write
only
y2
two
minus
cases which you need
y1
to
over
understand. One is
x2
the
minus
cube,
x1 equals gradient.
other is raised to power
Y2
4.
is a minus 5
Even power a
over
smiley face.
6 minus 3 is
Look
equals
at
to
this.
4.
Left hand
So a
corner
plus
top.
5 over 3 equals
Even
4.
power smiley face.
A plus 5 equals
Again
12.
even power, but
A is equals
negative
to 7.
sad face.
Is
Here,
the
when it is
concept clear?
odd, it rises to
We
right
may
for
have
positive.
points and
When
he's
it is
asking for
negative,
gradient,
it
or we may have the
rises to
gradient
left.
and a missing
These are
coordinate.
the only 4 cases which either you'll memorize them or through practice,
Can
you'll get
anyone
them in your
explain what does this
long-term
term
memory.
mean? Collinear.
Now let's try a few
Do you
examples
remember this
for
concept of collinear?
x bar 4 graph. So if I have this graph,
Could you
one
explain it?
curve, second curve,
I don't remember.
third curve.
Collinear means they lie on one line.
So I have
Let
3
me
curves.
say this
now
is
I
A,
know whatever the answer will be,
this
it
is
will
B,
be x raised to power
this is
4
C. So
something.
A, B, C,
And is it
are
giving an
collinear.
impression of
A, B, and
smiley
C
face
are
or sad
collinear.
face?
Having said that, we can
If I
say that
extend this
the
graph
gradient of
be more
AB
clear,
is equal to gradient of
impression of smiley
BC
face. or sad
Any
face?
doubts about this thing? That the gradient of
face.
AB
It
is
is a sad
equal to
face.
gradient of BC.
So that means it would be negative. So y is equals to, let us suppose few values. This is -2, this is -1, this is +2, this is +3. So x from left, this is x +2,
I didn't
this is
understand
x
the question, sir.
+1. The third one, x -2, last one,
Alright.
x -3. And because it is a
Question
sad
says
face, here is your
collinear
negative
points.
sign.
Collinear.
Any objection? Mohammed is smiling constantly.
Collinear means that they lie on one line. If this is A, this is B, this is C. I can say that the
कुछ अच्छी
gradient
बात है
of
तो शेयर कर
AB
लें.
is actually equal to the gradient of BC.
बताने वाली नहीं है?
Any doubts about this thing?
I think I'm just
Gradient of
sleep
AB
deprived.
and gradient of BC, they are
Okay.
equal.
Another example, this
Because
is
gradient of
-1,
straight line is constant.
2, 4, 7. Impression
Or
of
you
smiley
can
face
say
or
that
sad
the
face?
gradient of AB is equals to gradient of AC. You can make any
Yes.
different combination.
Smiley
Or
face.
you can say
so it
gradient
is
of
positive.
A
And how many curves are
is
there?
equals to gradient
Or
of
the point of
BC. You
intersections?
can make any different combination because
If
they
we
lie
count
on
the
the
curve,
same
this is
line.
1,
AB is
2,
equals to BC
and
or
3 curves, so it is power
AC
4.
is equal to BC
First is -1, so we write x +1.
or AB
Next is +2,
is
so we
equals
write
to
x
AC.
-2.
You can make any
Third is
combination.
+4.
They
So
lie
we
on
write
the
x
same line,
-4.
so all of
Last
them
is
have the
plus
same gradient.
7. So we write x -7.
So if we
So looking at the
copy this
curve,
value,
we can write the equation. Definitely when we'll multiply
this
all
was
these
A
factors,
is
we'll get raised to power 4
-2
equation.
A,
If we have
comma,
equation
5A,
y is equals to x minus
B
2,
is 0, comma,
x
4A,
plus 3, x minus 4, x
and
plus
C is
5. So we will know
6A, comma, A.
that where they will intersect. Firstly, it is +2.
They already said
Second,
that
it
it
is
is they are
minus
collinear.
3. Third, it is
Collinear means they
plus
all lie on
4.
same line.
Last
So
one, it
you
is
dictate me
-5.
any
Are the
of the
points of
combination.
intersection clear?
Choose any
Then it
combination.
is
Gradient
x
of
raised to
what
power
2
4.
points is
It
equal
will
to
give
gradient of
3
another 2
curves
points.
and an impression of smiley face
The
because
koi
it is
bhi.
positive
Yeah, yeah.
and even.
Mohammed,
Impression
Mahat,
of
anyone.
smiley face. Smiley face means it rises to right and
Minus
rises to left.
2A, comma,
And in
5A.
between, we will adjust our
Choose the points
3
A, B,
curves.
C.
So it rises
Uh,
to right,
AB is equal
rises to
to
left, and
BC.
3 curves.
AB
1,
and BC.
second curve,
So gradient is
third
always
curve.
y2
Only one thing
minus
is left,
y1
that is
over x2
y-intercept.
minus
So at
x1
y-intercept, x
and
is
another
0,
y2
that means
minus y1
-2
over
times
x2 minus
3
x1.
times
Carefully
-4 times
substituting
5.
values,
So
avoiding
2, 3
careless
times 6,
mistake.
6, 4 times 24,
AB
24 into 5
y2
is 120.
minus y1 over
So
x2
it intersects
minus
at
x1
120.
is equals to BC y2 minus y1
Now, do you expect
over
the questions would
x2
be
minus
these simple in
x1.
example?
Simplifying these, this is negative A over 2A.
A generic answer
is
would have
equals
been
to
no.
negative.
That's right. So how
BA
will the questions
over
appear? You will
6A.
actually have a cubic or quadratic.
So this
or
is negative
quadrupled
1 by 2 is
equation
equals
which you'll
to
have to factorize.
negative
Factorize
1 by
first,
2.
then go for
Okay.
sketching. So let us choose one equation.
So the question said, show that the points
For
this,
instance,
this
this
are collinear.
x cube
And how
minus
did you show
2x
that?
square
Because
minus
they had
3x.
the same gradient.
X
By
cube
this, negative 1 by 2 equals negative
minus
1
it
by 2.
was 2x
If
square
they were not collinear, that means they do not
minus
lie on one
3x.
line. We will
I
be
have this
having
equation.
different gradients.
So firstly, I take
So
out
they
x as
lie on
common because
same
it was
line.
possible. X square minus 2x minus 3. Now I will see if I can
Next,
factorize it or
we
not.
had
So x
work
square
out the
minus
gradients of this line. We
2x
just take a
minus
small
3.
exercise.
So
For the
thinking
first
about
part,
3,
1A gradient is
3 into 1 is
-2.
3 plus minus. Yes,
What is
I
the
think it is
gradient for
possible. So let's
2J?
try this. X square minus 3x
2J gradient.
plus x minus 3 is equals to, this is x. Taking out x common, this is x minus 3 plus 1 x minus 3. So x times x plus 1 times x minus
This
3.
this
So that
exactly
this
looks like
cubic
when
equation
you have some
could be
relatives
written
and
as
parents
this.
ask the youngest child to
After
select a
writing
point.
this, I know that it will be x0 minus 1 and 3. So
Gradient of
x0,
2j.
x minus 1 and x positive 3.
Gradient is 7.
Firstly, cubic
This
equation
is
positive. So
minus
rises to right and
7
falls to left.
over 4.
If it is
yeah.
rising at right and
Actually,
Oh,
falling
it's
at left,
perpendicular.
and
Right,
Y is
these are the
object.
points of intersection.
7s
This is
goes
my
on other
sketch.
side, then you divide it with 4. So negative 7 by
So you
4.
see how quick it is. You have to be strong in this. This is the very reason we
Question 4,
started
it
with
says the
chapter
line
number
y is
2.
equals to 6x
It
minus 18 needs the
covers
x
almost
axis. So
60 to
wherever it
70%
needs, I
of
know
your
that
chapters.
this is
Yes,
x
Mohammed?
comma 0. At point P, so P is
I
x
have
comma 0,
questions
work
like
out the
these where you
coordinates
have
of
to
P.
factorize
So
it
we
to
know
make a
that
graph.
y is
Will there
0
always be a value of
is
x
equals to
that's equal
6x
to 0?
minus 18.
No,
So x is equals to 3. So coordinates
this
of
won't be the
P are
case.
3 comma
This was
0.
just a coincidence. You may have any
Do we
values.
agree on this?
Suppose if you don't have x's in common,
Yes.
if the last one would have
Okay.
been only minus 3.
This is
So then we go for first hidden trial
5A
method for the
and
first
5B.
factor and then midterm breaking for
One more,
x2.
because this
And
is
there is one
more
more
of
possibility
O
which
levels.
we will discuss.
Find the
For
equation of the
example,
line.
this
Gradient
quadratic
is already
equation,
given.
consider we
Point
have
is already
no
given.
roots.
Straight away y equals mx
I'll
plus
show
c.
you how.
I want
Just
you
let me
to
complete this part
practice
and I'll come to that.
5A, 5B, 5C,
So,
not all,
this is complete.
not all.
I was going for
Selective
y-intercept.
questions
Complete
and
y-intercept is
what
already
would they
there.
be? Either
Assume this
where the marks are
sketch.
given or statement.
This curve. Consider this point as your
Okay?
turning point.
These are just for the practice.
What does it look
You
like?
already
X
know how
square,
to
x
solve
raised
these.
to power 3 or x raised to
So,
power 4?
The questions where marks are given or statement. 5A,
Three.
5B,
3. It looks like x
5C.
cube. And how many point of
Max
intersections
by
are there?
tomorrow, we'll
With
be
x-axis.
finishing and closing this chapter.
Only one.
And in a third class, we'll start
Only
with
one
chapter
point of
6.
intersection.
If you do
So
not
that
have any
means
problems,
you will
only
have
then.
one factor.
You had
You
your
will
first day
have
at school
one
today.
factor
No, our
and
schools
another
have
this school
quadratic
doesn't start until next
equation
month.
which does not have real
okay.
roots. So how you will
5A,
do that?
B, and
If
C.
in this case,
Okay.
if in our case there were no roots, we would leave it as it is, and the
Take
only
care.
point of intersection would have been 0.
If you want to
And
ask anything,
y-intercept.
you may.
And how will we get our y-intercept? We'll substitute x equals to 0 and get our y-intercept.
Take care of yourself
Let me
and
see.
go through
There
these
will
questions.
be an
Allah
example.
Hafiz.
Okay, let's try this. X minus 1, x square plus x plus 2. Okay. Y is equals to x minus 1, x square plus x plus 2. Okay, we know that this is a cubic equation and we know that it is positive and we know that it will give this impression. So this is something moving in our cloud, or we're thinking around this. But when we try to make factors x minus 1, can we try to make midterm breaking of this expression? There is no solution. Just to be sure, minus b plus minus square root b square minus 4ac over 2a. So I know that b is 1 plus minus square root 1 square minus 4 into a is 1 and c is 2. Without solving, I can see that this value under the square root is negative. Is it true? 1 minus 8 is minus 7. So having minus 7, we know that there are no roots. So it only intersects at plus 1. This is plus 1 and there is no intersection here. So it intersects at plus 1, one thing. This is our impression, which we are going to sketch over here. So sketching this impression would mean it rises to right and it falls to left somewhere. So this is the point of discrepancy. Where should we make our turning point? So that is not the requirement of exam. So any point, you may turn it at any point, makes no issue. It intersects at 1. And where does it intersect on y-axis? We will use the value of x as 0. So when I substitute 0, this is 0 minus 1 times 0 squared plus 0 plus 2. That is minus 1 into 2, which is minus 2. So it intersects at minus 2. So this is your final sketch. For this, yes, Mahad?
So the other bracket, can you not factorize it to find another point of intersection?
If we cannot factorize this, that means the point of intersection does not lie on x-axis. For example, if I have this equation, let me say I'm adding some value and taking the graph upwards. So it may look like this. So that would mean that we have only one point of intersection, and the other part we are unable to factorize it. There are no factors. So there are only 2 points. One, the point of intersection with x-axis, the other y-intercept, and nothing else. So what we are supposed to do in exam is point of intersection of x-axis, point of intersection of y-axis, 2 things, and number of curves. We definitely decide the number of curves on the power of the order of equation. If it is x cubed, there are 2 curves. If it is x4, there are 3 curves.
Understood. Thank you.
Look at this equation already here. If I just add something, I can see that this is negative 3 point something. So I'm adding isn't letting me edit the equation. So let me draw a new one. So if I had y equals to x plus 1 times x minus 1 times x plus 2. So in this equation, we can see our point of intersection from the equation, not from the graph, from the equation. First one minus 1, then plus 1, then minus 2. So we had our points and we sketched this graph. And we can see that the turning point on right, can you see my cursor moving? This plus sign or
Yes.
the hand tool.
Yes.
So we can see the lowest point is around somewhere 2 point something. So I'm adding 3. So the graph raises with 3 points. So plus 3. Now this equation, if we will solve this equation, we will have only one root and the other would be impossible to factorize. But it always gives the impression of a cubic graph. So first case is we factorize and we sketch. The second case is if we are unable to factorize, that tells us clearly that it is not touching the x-axis. So see, if I remove this plus 3, we again have 3 points of intersection. And what if I subtract the number? Minus the highest point in the turning point is 0.8 something. And let's say I subtract 1. So you see, again, there is only one intersection. If I will write this cubic equation, if I give you this equation after multiplying it and ask you to factorize it, there will be only one factor. The others will be no real roots. And y-intercept is always there because it rises to right and falls to left, and that is infinite. If we zoom out, so you see, that's almost infinite on both sides. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So today I won't say, is there any question? The reason being, the clarity only lies in practice. Look at this question 4a. I know this will intersect at +3 +2 -1. Look at question number G part, 1G. I know it will intersect at 0, -1, +1. Look at the last part. I know it intersects at 0, +1/2, and -3.
What do you mean
Getting
by
it?
plus 1/2? The 2x
1/2,
-y, how would
because
you?
we have to make x the subject always. Always. This is x is equals to 0. This is 2x -1 equals to 0. So we always solve this. This is x plus 3 equal to 0. We always solve this. This is the reason why we change the sign. So look at this one. This will be x minus 2 equals to 0, making x is equals to 2. This will be 2x -1 equals to 0, making x equals 1/2. The last one again, 2x plus 1 equals to 0, making x equals to -1/2. Are you getting it?
So
This is why, look at this E part. This is why we have this +2, +3, and this is +4.
understood.
And
Thank you.
this right here is -x cube. Okay, so practice, and I would advise start with the simple ones. This is 4a, so you don't get confused. Then like try 1 to 2 questions, then move on to question 2, one part, question 3, one part, question 4, one part, step by step. Don't go for the longer questions straight away. And then you will have a summary at the end of the chapter. Anything you would like to ask before we finish?
Do you have any questions?
So do practice them.